friends. Well, it has been a week since the coronation, and I'm trying to do a little roundup here. Actually, I shot my majority of my dialogue vlog earlier in the week, but I knew I would need to gather, pictures and more information and video clips probably, so I didn't have a chance to edit until a little bit later. So here I am doing another little introduction for it. And so I'll go briefly talk about the aftermath of the coronation. Like I said, it doesn't seem to be as much, there's not as much commentators as there was going up to the coronation. And we definitely saw Harry sulk his way through, and Meghan went on a hike. Well, okay, but that doesn't really grab the headlines. So the bottom line is that the coronation was more popular than Harry and Meghan's wedding. So if their aim was to try to damage the royal family's reputation so that there would be record low viewership of the coronation, they failed miserably. The coronation was extremely popular, and it was watched by millions and millions of people. And yeah, so all the constant stream of bitterness coming from Montecito has not diminished the interest in the British royal family. So, it'll be interesting to see how things continue. They threw everything in the kitchen sink at the royal family to try to sink them before the coronation. But I guess they're being up against, was it 1,000-year family monarchy, family line, 1,000-year plus? I guess that's still a little bit much for even Meghan Markle to topple. But it wasn't not for lack of trying. Not for lack of trying. And it was, sad to see them trying to pick on the Cambridge children or the Wales's children this week. So that just shows the level of bitterness. Seriously, they are going to be super jealous of those children. Just wait till the children get to be teenagers, and then they're the ones who are front and center with all the headlines. And Harry and Meghan, they're going to be middle-aged couple. They're a middle-aged couple now, but they've been able to keep themselves in the media as the young people. But not for long, like I said. And Prince George is going to be 10 years old this summer, so I would say in 5 years, all the news reporting is going to be shifting to the young prince and princess who are becoming teenagers, and all the speculation there. So yes. Well, we cannot say that Harry and Meghan have not had their 15 minutes of fame. They've had more than their 15 minutes, more like 50 minutes, or more like 500 minutes of fame. So really, they've had quite a lot of fame in their day. But they will be very unhappy when it comes time to concede the popularity in the young audience to the next generation. So, see how she handles that. But yes, for sure. Look at history. We're glad that we're past the historical times that things were really dangerous, because, family members were not safe from each other. Queen Athaliah, King Herod, just to name a few. And if you look at history, everybody was desperate to rule and have the crown, and they just took each other out right and left, relatives, children, grandchildren, everything. It was crazy about how much the people, historical figures, lusted for power. So that's definitely, humanity is flawed, but, they give up just enjoying life normally because they were so desperate for power and glory. And very interesting. There's a ton of things to be enjoyed in life without being, I don't think it'd be worth it to have your life cut short in a silly battle over who's going to sit on this throne, and you cheat yourself out of 20, 30 years of enjoying your favorite foods, being happy, doing all kind of nice, fun things. Doesn't make sense, but Oh no. History, the greed for power. Definitely an interesting subject to study. So all right, here we go into some of my recap of the coronation. I know this is going to be kind of a long video. You know, last spring I started a video. I wanted to do like a longer video on the Queen as a tribute back around the Jubilee time. But then my computer busted up and I had to start over, so it didn't happen. But I definitely want to get that video made. I have all these videos I downloaded on file. Well, I definitely want to pay tribute to Queen Elizabeth here, sooner or later. So, but now we have the new king, and the new era has begun, and we'll see how it goes. All right, into the post-coronation commentary. Hello, friends. I seem to be having some issues with the white balance today, but perhaps I can fix it in post. Filmmaker's easy fix. Okay. Well, we're going to go over a little recap of the coronation activities. And we are very happy that the coronation went smoothly. There was no major mistakes, no mishaps. And oddly enough, Harry and Meghan behaved themselves, which I think was a big surprise. I mean, yeah. So it's uncharacteristic of them to behave themselves, and as though the coronation was bigger than them, and they were not able to steal the spotlight. There was really nothing they could do that would steal the spotlight. So, Charles and Camilla had their big day, and the new king was crowned. And I thought it looked plenty big. Everyone was worried about it wouldn't be very big or very spectacular. I think it was still big and spectacular, and the coach was there. I don't know why someone said like the coaches were not going to be there, or maybe that was like if other nobles had coaches, they weren't going to be there. But as they were saying, you know, when can these nobles use their coaches, if not for coronation? Well, they're just going to have to get some other occasions for these coaches. You can't just waste beautiful coaches. I mean, speaking of the other nobles that have coaches that weren't used. Well, they're just going to have to do parades or something, because why keep them locked away? We can all enjoy looking at them. Oh well, that's a minor detail. Okay, so I thought, you know, Charles and Camilla looked very regal and sophisticated as they rode in the carriage and everything. And like I said, some people, like I have coworkers, some think, you know, the monarchy is a good thing, some think that it's bad. And so, I mean, well, what would happen to all of our dreams, all of our royalty dreams, if there were no monarchies left? I mean, even though the monarchies aren't a significant part of power these days, I think lots of people just like to hang on to that bit of magic. I think we do. Magic and history. Mm-hmm. It was really awesome seeing all the decorations and things people made. And Ritaz showed us that funny one that she really liked. It was Meghan trying to scale the mailbox or something really weird. But yes, I am surprised that they were able to keep silent. So yes, really the only thing that Harry and Meghan could do in the end was their followers just said, well, we hope it rains. Baloney. Like I said, it's England, it's going to rain, and nobody's going to worry about it. It's not a big deal. So their last little bit of parting sour grapes. So, and I mean, someone said that Meghan took a hike. Okay, she took a hike. No big deal. I'm going to take a hike here pretty soon. But, so that's nothing to grab headlines. So to me, it seems like a little bit for them, it's like an anticlimactic, because they were ultimately not able to overshadow the coronation. Ultimately. So that shows there is a chink in their armor. which for a long time I didn't see any chinks. Not a chink. But there's some chinks. So we shall see what becomes of them next. As this seems to mark more of a clear split, that they are, not a part of the... They're a very distant fringe part of the royal family. So, I mean, I don't think that the Netflix and this Harry's brief appearance did their brand any good, because, I mean, Netflix will see that he's not popular, not welcome. They couldn't really get any footage or things, and they couldn't talk to hardly anybody. I mean, I noticed him talking to Beatrice and Eugenie and their husbands, but I guess they probably think they're fairly safe because they're not big enough royals for him to want to go after. So they must feel they're safe. Well, I mean, hey, at least he had someone to talk to and wasn't completely cold-shouldered. I mean, everyone in the audience seemed to behave in a civilized manner. So I thought the event was very spectacular and beautiful, and it was not lacking in pageantry. And now, as for the ladies' fashions, it's definite to see that the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh are the second in the command, because from, like I said, Sophie's outfit, it was very similar to Kate's, and I think that shows their rank. And just think, if Meghan had behaved herself and gone along, that could have been her. She would have had the place that Sophie has now. But because it just wasn't the thing she wanted to do. But I mean, the outfits were very glamorous and extra special. I like those capes in the national colors and their gowns. I said, little Princess Charlotte, though, was really a standout in her little cape. I mean, she looks so perfect and so beautiful. I'm sure all the little girls around the world are dreaming of wishing that they were Charlotte, wishing they were a little princess. So it's nice to see the magic continue on. Of course, we have some people who are sour grapes, like some of those Republicans who want to get rid of the royal family. But it's nice to preserve a little bit of magic and mystique in the world. And I know there was a lot of talk about Kate not wearing her tiara, and that was supposed to be sad. I mean, and they said all the other European royals couldn't wear their tiaras. I guess their point is about they don't want to show a lavish display of wealth. They think it's in bad taste. They think a lavish display of wealth is in bad taste. But, yes, we need some occasions for the tiaras. Don't want them to just gather dust someplace. But, yes, those leaves, those, like, jeweled and silver sparkling, like Greek leaves or something around their headbands. They were almost like a tiara. And I said, and Charlotte had it too. It was very beautiful. And then I noticed the woman that carried that, the woman in green who carried that post, her outfit had some of those leaves, and her hat did as well. So that was a theme, like those were Greek leaves, or was it Greek or Roman? The victor's leaves. So that was very pretty. So it was close enough to a tiara for me. And yes, very glamorous. Although if everyone buys everything Kate wears, I'm not sure where people would wear those capes, those coronation capes they had. But they're very beautiful. And several months ago, I mean, even a year or so before the Queen passed away, I saw some documentaries that were speculating, would Charles be a good king, or would he not work out, or something. And, I mean, I did a video, and I said, I think Charles will be fine. I think he, is dedicated, and he will discharge his duties, and he'll do just fine. And I believe I was correct in that prediction. That the people have accepted Charles, and much better than we thought. So I think his popularity has improved. And yes, he's been preparing for this his whole life. And it seems that the people are trusting him. And I said, we do believe that he will do his best to be a good king and listen to the people. Now, of course, maybe he'll go overboard a little bit, but no one's perfect. Meaning, like Anne was saying, the monarchy is just about slim enough. They need more workers. So hopefully we'll see some more of maybe Beatrice and Eugenie. And then also the thing about the reparations and stuff, we don't know if it's a wise idea for him to get into that. But, because, I mean, if you get right down to it, every country could claim reparations from somebody, and then we could get some more wars again. Because, I mean, if you look at history, I mean, everybody oppressed everybody at one time or another. Every religion, so if you want to start a few more wars, start trying to go back and collect centuries-old duties or taxes that you think are due. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, Charles is not going to be a perfect king. Nobody's a perfect king. Nobody's a perfect queen. But he's going to do his best. And that's all we can ask of. Especially an elderly man. He'll do his best. Now, I heard Royal Rogue was talking about how the Queen had some strong words against Meghan there in the couple of months before she died. I'm like, wow. Did the Queen really say that she was evil? Wow. Those are strong words for the Queen. But if true, then that would explain why that there was definitely bad feelings between the Queen and Philip and Harry and Meghan, and that is why they were so relentless and so vindictive. Even when Philip was dying, even when the Queen was dying, they were just like merciless in their nastiness. So I think that would explain their actions, especially Meghan. Like I said, you don't cross the narcissist. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do with people who are narcissists? You can't just give them their way. But I guess if you cross them, you will get nastiness back. And as we see, so that actually makes sense. Because, I mean, what kind of people, except a very mean-spirited person, would, be really mean to 90-some-year-old grandparents on their deathbed? What kind of person would do that? What kind of reason would there be? And I think as it's kind of starting to come out that the Queen was not favorable toward Meghan, and that is what caused them to push forward with all their revelations and tell-alls, even when the Queen and Philip were dying. So, well, that says more about Harry and Meghan than anything. It's just too bad. Well, we're glad the Queen didn't have to live through the Netflix series or Spare, because I'm sure that things like that hurt her and depressed her. So, we're sorry about that. And the thing is, like I said, I got into this following the drama and making videos because I wanted to defend the Queen. Because, I said, we Americans, we have a soft spot for the Queen. Like I said, and that's when I wrote her a letter back in 2020, because I was sympathizing with her, because they're having a hard year because of Megxit, and little do we know how hard it was going to continue to be for them. So I'm glad I was able to express sympathy and care and concern at that difficult time. And as people are saying, they said that, Harry's not a happy man. I guess people who are vengeful are never happy. And they sort of they've blown it. I mean, there was so much opportunity, but so much opportunity lost. And I think someday, when they cool down, they're going to look back and regret their immaturity prevented them from reaping a lot of benefits. I mean, really, being a royal, I think, is better than being a celebrity. It's a lot more stable. And it's more prestigious. And I said back whenever I first heard about Meghan, American actress, being engaged to the prince, I thought, wow, that's awesome. What a great opportunity for an American. I just really hope she doesn't blow it. Oh boy, did she blow it. Spectacularly. But, well, she's had her 15 minutes of fame, and actually a lot more than 15 minutes of fame. So, we'll see where she goes from here. But perhaps in the direction of Norma Desmond. And because her own inflated ego, she wants to think she is bigger than the monarchy, bigger than everyone. I am big. It's the monarchy that got small. But, as we can see, their chink in their armor, they were unable to grab the headlines away from the coronation. So mostly everyone just said about them is that Harry was a sad, lonely figure, and then Meghan tries to take a hike to look happy. Oh, really? But that's no headline grabbing. So, I don't know, they appear to maybe have exhausted their resources for vindictiveness. Time will tell. Well, it was good to see the coronation and good to see the people of Britain having a good time, and I'm sure you people in other places still wanted to celebrate just for an excuse to celebrate and have fun. And so hopefully it'll be a new era, and I think it's amazing how forgiving and kind Charles has been. That's the best way to be, as what they say, you know, be kind to your enemies and they'll heap coals of fire on their heads. So Charles has behaved very well and been kind to Harry and Meghan and tried to reach out to them whenever he could. So he's been a very good example and to all of us. So and time will tell how things go, but we don't look for reconciliation in the near future. But all right, so I'm sure you guys had a wonderful weekend celebrating the coronation. I'm just a regular old American. I mowed grass all day on Saturday. So, that's the American. Alright. Okay, thank you for watching. I personally, once again with my predictions, which maybe I haven't been the greatest track record on some of my predictions. But my prediction is that the interest in Harry and Meghan is going to wane because the royals have had their big events and things are going to settle down back into ribbon cutting here, a tea there, a ambassador visit there. You know, it's not going to be as huge a deal. And I think that Harry and Meghan have pretty much exhausted their inaccurate racism claims, and they have had to see that it did not destroy the royal family's reputation, and they are not polling at zero, and there was still a magnificent viewership for the coronation. So I would say that the royal family has come out on top, and Harry and Meghan are still struggling in the negative double digits of their popularity. I mean, yes, I'm sure they will try to keep on scrambling their way into the media and the headlines, but I definitely think interest in them is on the wane. They have been discredited right and left, up and down, and there are tons of YouTube channels devoted to explaining how discredited they are. And with the lack of talent, I don't see how they're going to be great producers of films. They're going to have to hire a lot of people, and I mean, even the mainstream Hollywood industry struggles with having successful films. They do. So I think that Harry and Meghan are scraping the bottom of the barrel of their war on the Windsors. And Megyn Kelly predicts, maybe she has a better record than me, Megyn Kelly predicts that Meghan is going to leave Harry for a billionaire hedge fund manager. So I'm watching for that. I am. That will be extremely interesting. Probably the worst nightmare for Harry will be to have to come home and live the rest of his days with the family who he has maligned and so cruelly despised. That would probably be the toughest karma that he would have to face. Only time will tell. All right. Thank you for watching. Let freedom ring.